the lovely Lady Godiva is pretty much the beating heart of the fair city of Coventry, the centre of the known universe. And we discovered there's going to be a Lady Godiva the musical. We had to find out a little bit more about it. Two ladies, Rebecca and Nina, from the Artfully Reliable Theatre Society. You can work out the acronym for yourself in Buckinghamshire, put the musical minds together to make the theatrical piece come together. Now, though, they need a leading lady. But what on earth should they be looking for when it comes to Lady Godiva? We can help them out. But first of all, though, let's have a quick chat with Rebecca, first of all, in Aylesbury. So, what's in Aylesbury, Rebecca, apart from ducks?
Not a lot, to tell you the truth. It's somewhere nice to live.
Well, that's nice. As long as you're happy there.
Absolutely.
We don't like to think about the South much here in the Midlands because this is the centre of the known universe. There's no need to travel, really. But, you know, if we fancy popping down for a day trip, we shall do. So if there's not much to do, no wonder you're there putting your minds together to come up with a musical. Why choose Lady Godiva?
Well, why not? I think was the question of that. This is our third full musical that we've written, and we were looking for a strong female role, and we tend to look for either historical characters or books, something that's based on a book, something that, you know, the general public can actually understand and know something about. And we went through various things, and both Nina and myself came up with Lady Godiva, and, liked the idea, looked into it a little bit more about the history and what is known and what is supposed as well, and decided that, yes, it did make a great story because she's really quite a fascinating character, a woman ahead of her time in many ways.
And she was. Well, that's what happens in Coventry, you see.
Indeed.
We're all ahead of our time.
One day I'll visit it.
Do. Make sure you do. And you can see Lady G for yourself because she is blooming everywhere as soon as you arrive. Were you surprised by what you discovered about her when you went on your research voyage?
I'm not sure entirely surprised, but certainly we just gained more insight. It was known that she was a benevolent person, but we discovered a bit more about that. It's just a really fascinating story. She's a great character.
What did you know? I'm guessing, we do her all the time at school and everything else. I remember my dad telling me about her when we were looking at the Devlin's Clock, which you won't know anything about, but trust me, it is a work of art, and if I ever win the lottery, I'm building a reproduction in my back garden. And Dad telling me all about her and me being stunned. What did you know?
Well, we knew about, obviously, the ride, and that it was in connection with the taxes, and that's probably roughly it. So once actually looking into it, we found out exactly why, the fact that it was to do with her husband, who was a powerful man himself, Lefric, and how he imposed the taxes, and it was through her that they were able to actually do away with them. The time. So, we're trying to be accurate in the retelling of our story, which is why we've done quite a lot of research with the various chronicles that are available and try to sort of bring them all together to match them up, because obviously we're looking at records that go back a long time, and people who were writing about the story sometime after it actually happened. So we've done our best to pull it all together. We've got a few characters along the way who add to the general story, but the circumstance of the ride itself is we feel we dealt with it pretty much how the chronicles are telling us about it.
So you've got Lady Godiva in there, obviously.
Absolutely, central character.
And I'm guessing Lord Lefric's in there as well.
Yes,
Have you got Peeping Tom stuck in there as well?
Oh, we do.
Marvellous, marvellous. See, Peeping Tom actually used to make me feel really sad. We've got lots of Peeping Toms around the city as well. I think there are 5 in total, but there's only a couple left now actually in town. And one of them is peeping down on a place called Hertford Street. And that was the one that always used to make me feel a bit sick, because Dad told me about them poking his eyes out. And that made me feel kind of sad every time I saw him. You don't do that in a musical, because that would be awful.
Well, you know what? You'll just have to come down and see how we're going to do it.
But you're in Aylesbury. That's miles away. Can you not give us a clue?
We're not actually going to poke his eyes out. But, acting is a wonderful thing. It's interesting what you can do with it. So he will go blind, let's put it that way.
Well, is it a happy at heart musical? Where are we? Are we at Seven Brides for Seven Brothers kind of happiness, or bring it down on the scale?
It's a musical comedy.
Right, okay, that's all right then. So when it's not very sort of serious, it's not Phantom of the Opera or anything like that, is it? They're not more light-hearted.
No, it's not. You're going to go away from it whistling the tunes.
Oh, that's a joyful thing. Is it hard writing a musical? There must be such a lot involved. You're not just writing a plot, are you? You've got all the tunes to come up with as well.
It does take a while. This took about a year to write. I've written the music, and that's a pretty intensive bit. You know, for every word that's written, there's quite a lot of notes associated with it. So the music itself is probably the longer process. So this one has taken about a year to write. There's a lot of musical numbers in it. Is it hard? Well, you know what? If you said to me, can you cook? I'd probably say not really, because that to me is hard and not very exciting, whereas writing music is something I do. So it's easier for me. So it's time-consuming, but not especially hard, whereas baking a cake really is.
Yeah, well, actually, that is pretty tricky, but yeah. I can do that.
Puts it into perspective.
Yes, I suppose it's all about what we can do. Moving a wardrobe, for example, I discovered I'm fairly limited when it comes to that a little bit earlier on today, and I squished the love of my life. I still cannot say how sorry I am. So, listen, in Lady Godiva then, what kind of... I suppose you need to know about the characterisation. You need somebody that's warm of heart, don't you? That's the most important thing.
Absolutely, and through the story we have showed that side of her, the fact that she was a strong businesswoman, she was successful, but she definitely had a heart, and she would listen to the woes of people, and we brought that out in the story.
Okay, now you're looking, I'm guessing, for somebody quite glamorous as well, because she does go on a horse with no clothes on. And I know everybody turned away, but she wouldn't be offering herself up on a plate if, you know, she was...
That's right.
She was a bit of a moose, would she?
Yeah, we're certainly looking for somebody with a presence, a stage presence about them, yes.
Mm. And what kind of age have you decided to tip her at then? That's quite interesting.
Mid-30s sort of area to present, around about that sort of area. She was younger than her husband, of course. So we didn't want him to be too ancient. So we fit around about there. So a mature woman.
Oh, really? So you don't want a dolly bird plopped on the back of your horse?
A dolly bird wouldn't really work for the story, no.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it would work anyway, generally.
It wouldn't.
I can see in my head our Lady Godiva, Prue Peretta. She's been doing it for years, but fortunately she's supposed to be joining us this afternoon, but she can't at the moment because something's popped up. So she's had to nip off, and sadly she would have been ideal. But we could send you her CV. I don't know if she does much singing, but, you know, we could improvise. Perhaps I could sing and she could mime.
Can she pop down to Aylesbury every Wednesday evening?
I'm fairly certain that'll be all right. How far is it from here? It's got to be, 60 miles, something like that? It's not that far.
Probably something of that order.
Yes,
I don't know. You know, it's up north from where I'm from, so it's you know, not the real world.
It's a tricky. I know. I can imagine. You're all looking up to us all the time. It must be difficult to imagine making the journey. But trust me, it can be done. And we don't all ride horses, not even Lady Godiva. So we might.
What in Godiva itself, we actually praise the Midlands and Coventry in particular. We have a song that's called Coventry, and it's all about praise of Coventry. So there you go. We need to get some brownie points for that.
You do get brownie points for that. I tell you what, send us a recording. We'll give it a spin.
We'll see how it goes, yes.
Happily. Well, look, let us know when you've found your Lady Godiva, because we would love to meet her.
OK, we will do that. We should know fairly soon.
Oh, well, fingers crossed. Listen, Rebecca, I hope we've been of some service in forming your ideas on what you're looking for. Thank you very much indeed to Rebecca Taylor from Aylesbury. By the way, when are you staging your musical?
It will be February next year. It's the 18th to the 21st of February at the Court Theatre in Tring in Hertfordshire.
Oh, I know Tring very well.
Okay.
Yeah. So that isn't far away, actually. We can just spin down the M1 to see you in Tring. So that's all right then. Oh, brilliant. Well, let us know when you've found your Lady Jean. If there's anything more we can help you with, let us know. And in the meantime, we'll look forward to hearing the Coventry song.